Jesuits?
They gave up everything.
Who did?
The Jesuits? Oh, yeah.
And you said you loved them
Yeah.
because they gave up everything.
Yeah.
Why did you love them because they gave up everything?
Because they seemed to have a strength that you didn't have, or your friends didn't have, or something.
And you were trained by the Jesuits?
Well, if you went to the Jesuits,
Mm-hmm.
and they were always telling you to do this, and you seemed to be giving up everything, and we thought they were something.
Well, what did you gain? If the Jesuits were teaching you to give up stuff, certainly they must have said there was something to gain. You didn't just give up.
Oh, holiness. They wanted to be strong and get to do anything they wanted to. Their big deal was they could say, well, I don't do that. I used to do that. I've given it up.
And then they offer you holiness and health, happiness.
They offered you being able to give up anything you wanted. Made a big deal for you in school. All you did was what you wanted to do.
So it's like asceticism and discipline, self-discipline,
Yeah,
and then the power that comes from that.
yeah.
And that's the tradition you were trained in?
That's what we were being trained in, yeah.
So then you successfully used that model when you gave up the cigarettes when nobody else was giving up cigarettes in 1964? 5?
Yeah.
It was around when the Surgeon General warning came out, when I was just a little baby kid.
You remember that?
Yeah, because it was a big deal, because you came home and I used to always smell cigarette smoke on you. And then there was this one day when you came home and you said you were never going to smoke again. I must have been 3 years old. And then there was no more smoke around the house. But then I remember it became a struggle because then you got into coffee and sugar. And I used to make your coffee when we moved here and I was 8 years old. I made your coffee and you always used to have me put big heaps of sugar in it. And you get really angry if you didn't have your coffee and agitated.
You remember that?
Oh yeah, that's why I never drank coffee. Because I'd see you get so agitated when you didn't drink coffee. I was like, wow, this drug is powerful. That's scary stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
so I was like, I'm not touching that. So then when I got to Harvard, they tried to feed me coffee, me and Chris Murray, and I decided I would take it black because then there's no sugar. But then it tasted so awful. I was like, why would anybody want to drink this crap? So I never did coffee at all because you drank coffee so much. And that's why I was also able to give up sugar at various times because I saw what it did to you. So you paved a path, suffering with your own sacrifice to keep me healthy. But then I got weak and I started to go down the same road.
You weren't smoking?
No, I never smoked. No, because you talked me out of smoking, but I never touched the cigarettes because of what you told me how bad it was and how awful it made you feel and then how you gave it up. We were always proud of you. You were a role model. But then it was the coffee, so I gave that up. And then the sugar I had terrible ups and downs with my whole life until you got dementia. And then I said, I'm giving it up forever for good. You probably don't remember this because you had bad dementia.
I don't.
No, you had such bad dementia.
Forever because it was...
And I said, I'm gonna give it up completely. And I got Mom to give it up because she was addicted to it too.
Were you the one?
Yeah. And so when you went into the hospital, I forced Mom to throw away. We purged this house of every grain, all the wheat, rice, corn, sugar, and potatoes, and anything that contains it. We threw it all into the trash. And when you got back from the hospital, there was nothing that you couldn't eat here. And then we said to you, eat whatever you want, as much as you want, because it was only healthy food. It used to be, we used to try that every 3 or 4 years, we used to try that, but then you'd always go outside and buy your own stuff because you didn't have dementia, you just had diabetes. So you used to go up to the supermarket and buy candy bars and cookies and bring it back home. So Mom gave up, and she used to buy all that stuff because she said if I try to keep it out of the house, he just brings it back in. And the two of you were getting fatter and fatter, and you had all these medicines you used to take. I remember all the diabetes pills you used to have to take and the cholesterol pills? And you were always going to the doctor, and you guys were always getting sick.
Yeah.
And then when you collapsed, you had a bowl of cereal one morning, in about January or February, about a year ago. You collapsed into your cereal bowl and you went into a coma. And when you recovered in the hospital, they started feeding you bad food. And I said, I'm taking my dad out of here. And I talked to the nutritionist and the doctor, and we tried to give you a special diet. And then you went into the nursing home. And the month you were in the nursing home, I had all sorts of dialogues with your doctors because they were poisoning you. They were giving you, I said, you're giving him the exact food that made him collapse and go in a coma. He's a diabetic. And they're like, well, you can have a little bit because then we give him his pills. And the pills called glucophage break down the sugar that we're giving him. I was like, what are you doing? Giving him sugar and then you're giving him pills? That's crazy.
Doesn't make any sense.
So we moved you out of the nursing home and brought you back here, but we cleared the house out. And so for the past year, we've been helping all of us.
My mother?
Your mom also had diabetes. Yeah.
She did.
Yep, she had diabetes and she was overweight. And she used to tell me when she was in her 80s, she'd look in the mirror and she'd say, who is that old woman? She'd wake up in the morning thinking she was 25 years old, she said. And then she'd look at the mirror and she'd say, that's not me. I'm a beautiful, young, thin woman. And I look in the mirror and I see this old, fat, wrinkled thing, she said. And she was so, because I was staying with her in the house that Jack built out in Illinois. And she's like, I can't believe that this is me every morning. And then I have to remember, oh, I'm old. But then she didn't know that she could have gotten rid of all that weight and lost the diabetes. She didn't know it.
Well, she knew she was giving rid of it.
Yeah, but when, in her last days, she was still eating the stuff that was killing her. She lived a long time. She lived to 92. Yeah, so she lived a long time, but she would have been much happier in the last decade of her life. Like, you're 80, so let's say that you go for another 12 years and live as long as your mom. You want those last 12 years to be good years.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And your Uncle Bill, you just talked to last night, is 88, and Ray Favada's turning 90. We're going to his birthday next weekend. So you can do another...
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. You can do another 10 years easy. Because now look at you, no body fat.
I know, and I've noticed that too. He's been getting thinner since I've been with him.
Yeah.
She's seen him?
She's seen you. She's been with you for 4.5 months. And she's watched you grow from basically a zombie into the John Culhane that we knew and loved and know and love.
Which was wherever.
Yeah. So it's a process. It's going to take some time for your circuits to all reconnect, but obviously they're reconnecting. Remember you used to say to me, only connect? And you're reconnecting. So God bless you.
My God.
Yeah. All right.
My God.
It is. It's alhamdulillah, thanks be to God. And all those Jesuits, boy, they trained you well.
Jesuits. Well, that's the Jesuits. That's the physical stuff.
Yeah.
Boy, they love to use that physical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The physics.
Well, that's something for me to know. I've been taught here.
Yeah. Well, it's just great to have you back. I mean, you know, it's like, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the world.
Thank you.
And there'll probably be days when you're going to slip back into a mental fog because the disease is hard to cure all at once, but you're making steady progress, right?
My God.
So if you get frustrated, you can't find the right word, or you get confused if you don't know where you are, if you don't know who we are, that's okay. As long as your diet is good and you're doing the exercises and you're listening to what Tasia tells you and you're doing the therapy, you're going to get your brain back and your body. Look at how well you're walking now.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
That was, he's right?
Really.
He wasn't able to do that when you first arrived.
Nope.
So enjoy yourself in the bathroom.
When I first arrived.
When you got back from the hospital. Yeah.